This is day 160 of New Zealand's biggest gap year, an epic challenge that Laura and I decided to tackle 2 years ago, where we have to do 365 activities all around New Zealand in 365 days. So this is part 1 and we're going to be carving our own jade necklace. So check out at the end of the video when I'm going to go over all the questions and comments you had the first time we published it. And then after that, check out part 2. But that's for next day. See you then. This morning we are reluctantly leaving really early the Stewart Island backpackers and we are heading for Rakiura Jade Carving Studio, where we're going to be meeting Dave and Bin, the two carvers there. We are getting right to business with the different carving designs available, including the secret carving stone.
Laura, you need to make hot chocolate for Robin. That is what the secret says.
Jade carving is a tradition in New Zealand where usually you gift your jade pendant to someone else, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be carving each other some jade pendants, so the pressure is on. After picking our jade, which we're going to be carving, we are then doing our design. So we're going to be doing a more traditional design, which is called a toki, and this is a long chisel shape. Dave is getting rid of some of the excess on our stones, and then it's time for us to start carving. And luckily there's all the equipment that we need here, a lot of the grinders, sanders, and Bean and Dave are super helpful to make sure we are staying on track with our carving.
The first stage of the process was to cut out all the excess of our stone, so we are left with exactly the amount of stone that we need to create our design. Then it's back to the drawing board, so we can actually decide what kind of shape this toki is gonna have and start drawing on the stone where the cut and where the polish needs to happen. It's under the watchful yet hilarious eyes of Pharaoh, the studio's dog, that we are moving on to the next stage of the process, where we're going to be starting to polish. We begin the polishing process by using massive sanding machines that get rid of a huge amount of excess on our stone, leaving us with a very thin and narrow piece of stone. It is really important for us to be really careful because any slight mistakes create long-lasting marks on the stone. They are really small.
It's a real laid-back atmosphere here at the Rakiura Carving Studio, and that just really reflects what life on Stewart Island is like. In between doing parts of carving, we're also playing with the hilarious little dog, and just the location of this studio is really amazing, with windows with views looking out to the beautiful ocean. Dave's also taking the time to tell us about the Maori legends of how Greenstone is formed according to myth and legend, which is actually different between Maori tribes, which we had no idea about. But the main star of the show has to be Pharaoh the dog. We are having a ridiculous amount of fun playing with this dog, who just looks unimpressed the whole time, but so hilarious. But anyway, we are moving on to the next stage of the carving, which is going to be hand sanding and doing the more intricate details of our toki pendants.
This is really the tricky part of the carving. This is when we're gonna give the ultimate shape to that stone. Right now we're having a rough rock and we want to turn it into an awesome jewelry. And Laura and I are taking that really seriously. We're super focused on what we're doing, and Dave has noticed that. So he's coming to relax us by reading us a little bit of poetry while we're working. It's a really awesome way to clear our mind.
So my work has just been inspected and I graduate to the white one. So I've done red, I've done yellow, now I'm moving on to white.
And you say he's got a special signature there.
Yes, that is done on purpose, because I'm an artist. I am creative. Now Laura is going to be inspected and we'll see if she can move on to the white. No pressure, Laura, I just moved on to the white. Wow, he didn't do that to mine.
After completing the final touches of our sanding, we are then piercing a hole through the jade so that we're able to put a piece of rope through it and actually make it into a necklace. And then we have a well-deserved break, which is having a look at the different types of jade you can get around New Zealand. And Dave is showing us a few tricks on how to show its true colour. The final stage is braiding the string for the necklace, which Dave shows us a very complicated way of braiding with 2 people at a time, so it takes us a little while to get the hang of it, but we become braiding masters towards the end. But thankfully, Dave is doing the more complicated part of bringing this whole necklace together. The end result looks awesome. We can't believe that we've carved these jade necklaces ourselves, and we are going to be wearing these proudly for the rest of our trip. We are super stoked about what we've just created.
Alright, so we just done carving our own jade necklace. We went with some very traditional shape for this time. And yeah, they look actually stunning. They look very traditional, much more polished than what we've done before. You can see the experience. So this is what Laura has done for me.
And this is what Robin has done for me.
They look
Nice.
really nice. They look really neat. So now we're going back to the hostel. We're going to prepare for the epic adventure that is waiting for us tonight. So we are in front of the only hotel and pub in Stewart Island. We have our huge bags packed. And we're now waiting for Hannah, which is going to come and pick us up, so we can take the plane for a lovely sunset flight across the island, all the way to Mason's Bay, where we're going to hunt for kiwi birds. We're not going to kill them, we're just going to take pictures of them, but we're pretty keen.
Don't miss the part 2 of our awesome day right here on Stewart Island, where we're going to be heading toward the complete other side of Stewart Island by plane, and we're going to be landing on the beach. We're going to try to find some kiwi birds in the dark. We're going to have an awesome evening. Alright guys, so how cool is the result? I really do love my new Toki. I have to say it's just something I'm going to keep for years, and to be fair, I'm recording that years later and I still have this Toki. I don't wear it every day, to be quite fair, but I still have it. Alright, so during this tour, when we first published the video, the #1 question that you guys were asking is what was the price? We can't really answer this question because it really depends on the size of the stone that you're taking, on the style of the stone that you're taking, and all that kind of thing. So there is so much to take in account that pretty much everybody is going to get a different price. So keep that in mind when wanting to do this tour, because well, we just couldn't give you like, yeah, okay, it's it's $100 or what's the price. We can't really tell you that whatsoever. Now another question was, what's on part 2? Well, on part 2 we're going to take a flight all across New Zealand, Stewart Island, and then we're going to hike toward one of the huts called Mason's Hut, and then we're going to stay there, and then on the next day we're going to be tramping across. So here you go. You guys know what's on part 2. Alright, let's go with some of the more specific comments. We had Wine World that says, I kind of want to go with the bone carving in Westport over the Greenstone carving in Auburn because I think the bone pendant look better. Yeah, I mean, they both look really cool. I think and to be fair, bone carving first is cheaper, and also it's just easier to work the stone and everything. But that's our second time working the stone. So when you work the stone and you have something a little bit harder to work with, you want to go with simpler forms, which I think kind of give you more constraint, and I think that constraint breeds creativity. So I think it's yeah, I will say I personally prefer the stones, but I think Laura will agree with you, Y2J. So here you go. If you guys want to discuss more those kind of questions, by the way, this is the kind of interaction that we have with you guys every single Sunday at 8 AM New Zealand time. We hang out right here with Laura for about an hour, and we answer all your questions that you're coming up with in the live chat. So it's a really good place to hang out, so you should definitely consider joining that. Also, if you want to pick our brain 24/7, you can check out NZPocketGuide.com. It's actually New Zealand's largest travel guide. There's thousands and thousands of articles for you to plan a trip to New Zealand, and yeah, if you want to plan a trip to New Zealand and you don't want to spend any money on a dusty old guidebook, well, NZPocketGuide.com is definitely the place to go. Alright, that's my shameless plug for the day. In the meantime, I wish you epic adventures to all of you, and I see you during part 2 very soon. Bye bye!